Thank you all for joining me on today's resilience journey. Today's urgency meeting about resilience. Remember, I do not propose to change your life through my words, my heartfelt, genuine, sincere, organic word that I hope touches your heart and gives you something to use on your journey today. Nothing, again, revolutionary or new under the sun. Just a different way in offering you a different perspective from this person you may never meet. But in some way, the words should resonate with something you do or something you intend to do. I don't want to be today's advocate. And I thought when I came up with that title, or came to me, that this would be too difficult to address in the 500 seconds we have together. But then the observation from the book, the metric for observation, kicked in for me. And of course, as I do for you and for myself, a question popped into my head and through my heart. How do you know or observe the whispers that come to you? The images or sounds or smells that come to your senses? And that you can discern between what is a true signal for you, for action, of positivity, of love, of yes, and not just of lust or lie and vanity. How can we pick up on the signal, the clear signal, and not get caught up in the noise of the day? How can I fine-tune or adjust the dial, the mental and heart dial, to listen to the God in us and not to defer to the world around us and about us? I know, I call this the urgency meeting about resilience. But this urgency meeting on resilience doesn't offer you much in terms of answers or solutions on your journey. But then actually every 820 installment and inference does or should give you that, but in a different way. And in a different way, I mean a new perspective, a change to your acceptance, to your awareness, and also to your application of your best to this day and to this present moment. That should offer you a very significant path to the answers you may seek. And you will get those quote unquote answers with and through your own genuine, original, sincere, and curious questions. Not just rehashed or Google questions or AI-generated questions. No, you will get those answers with and through your own genuine, original, sincere, and curious questions. Those kind of organic questions that should come from your heart space and not from your heady intelligence. When you do that, that's how you get indications or nudges or guidance through those questions, because those kind of questions contain the very answers you need answers to for clarity. Not about whether I should eat more cake and pie as the baseline for my failing diet. A better question I should ask should query my choices, the chances, and the consequences of what I ingest and digest to support my best health and physical longevity. For nutritional value and application, and not just for the sugar acceptance and fatty calories that I take in most days than I don't. Just as an example on the kinds of organic questions you'll need to ask for guidance and for positive success. For me, as your unpaid and unrequested advocate for today, for and in these moments we get to spend together, that's the only way I can come up with and to my own questions for today. To cut through the chaff and the garbage and then get to the kernel of the wheat, if you will. To get to the applied value of the grace that you and I, we all receive on this moment and in this day. Not just to consume entertainment and frivolity. Sure, there is a time for that. A short and limited time for that. I believe, however, that we may want to prioritize in each day and in each moment this time to educate ourselves, maybe even this tone, to educate ourselves on the individual, respective, and collective purposes, messages, and voices. Our individual, respective, and collective beauty. And with the individual, respective, and collective presence we all have at our disposal on this day. A one-day perspective, if you will. Or maybe let's call it a one-day sale on that respective, individual, and collective aspect of each of us. A one-day sale. Maybe, remember, you only get one of these at a time if you're lucky. A one-day sale. So you want to use it carefully. You want to embrace it with sincerity and gratitude. This day, this moment, in this day, consider it a one-day sale. And query the conditions and circumstances of the moment with the kinds of questions I mentioned to you. When you do that, that will cut through the noise of the day. And then you can return forward with the clarity of the signal, and not so much of the noise. With the direction, not the answer that you really need in the first place. Not what you want to consume or conquer for a moment, for what you need to produce from all of that beauty within you. That is your resilience for the day. And from and in the only place you can ever exist, in this moment. So, shop carefully on your one-day sale. Take care. Stay present. Stay current. No matter where you are in this world, please remember, it's always 8:20.